So my wife Becky and her sisters took a trip across the pond, primarily to go see where their mother was born and raised in Vienna, Austria. Flew over there, of course. They'll be flying back tomorrow. They've been gone quite a while. And so I was reminded of this particular Easter song written by David Phelps called The End of the Beginning. Listen and hear the story of the death and resurrection of Jesus, our Savior. I was taking a trip on a plane the other day, just wishing that I could get out, when the man next to me saw the book in my hand and he asked me what it was about. So I settled back in my seat, bestseller, I said, a history, a mystery in one. And then I opened up the book and I began to read from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He was born of a virgin one holy night in the little town of Bethlehem. Angels gathered round him underneath the stars, singing praises to the great I Am. He walked on the water, healed the lame, and made the blind to see again. And for the first time here on earth, we learned that God could be a friend. And though he never ever did a single thing wrong, the angry crowd chose him. And then he walked on the road and died on the cross. And that was the end of the beginning. That's not a new book, that's the Bible, he said, and I've heard it all before. I've tried religion, it's shame and guilt, and I don't need it anymore. It's superstition and made-up tales just to help the weak to survive. Let me read it again, I said, but listen closely. This'll change your life. He was born of a virgin one holy night in the little town of Bethlehem. Angels gathered round him underneath the stars, singing praises to the great I Am. He walked on the water, healed the lame, and made the blind to see again. And for the first time here on earth, we learned that God could be a friend. And though he never ever did a single thing wrong, the angry crowd chose him. And then he walked down the road and died on the cross. And that was the end of the beginning. The end of the beginning, he said with a smile. What more could there be? He's dead. And they hung him, put nails in his hands and a crown of thorns on his head. I said, I'll read it again, but this time there's more, and I believe this is true. His death wasn't the end, but the beginning of life that's complete in you. Don't you see he did all this for you? Now he was born of a virgin one holy night in the little town of Bethlehem. Angels gathered round him underneath the stars, singing praises to the great I Am. He walked on the water, healed the lame, and made the blind to see again. And for the first time here on earth, we learned that God could be a friend. And though he never ever did a single thing wrong, he was the one the crowd chose. And then he walked, and then he died. 3 days later, 3 days later, 3 days later, he rose, yes he rose. 3 days later he rose, he rose. then he died. And that was the end of the beginning.